Welcome back, Canonites, for another monthly recap. As we look forward to E3 this year and all it may hold, let's take a quick look back at the month of May and all its excitement. This is the Halo Monthly Recap. Starting things off is, in case you missed it, May saw a healthy 5 videos released. The first was a look back at the history and importance of the Halo graphic novel, Halo's first major dive into comics. After that was this month's first Canon fodder, which gave us a look at more Halo Infinite bosses and a new weapon and vehicle. Following that was an overview of how the Halo rings work, and more importantly, whether they kill the Flood, a question that still comes up to this day. Next was a surprise, another Canon fodder going over the lore of the new armor and weapon skins coming to MCC. And finally, we took a look at a new E3 graphic showing off some multiplayer Spartans for Halo Infinite and discussing what we might expect at the Xbox Showcase on Sunday, June 13th. It was a good month overall, and if there are any videos here that grab your attention and you haven't seen them, they're all linked at the bottom of the description box below. From there, we get into official news and releases for Halo. Starting the month out on May 3rd, it was announced that both Halo Wars 2 and Spartan Assault will be receiving Xbox Series X and S enhancements. Halo Wars 2 will now play at 60 FPS and Spartan Assault at 120 FPS on consoles. Later that same day, 343 also showed their support for Asian American and Pacific Islander History Month, acknowledging the contributions of AAPI team members. May 5th saw the continuation of the Jazzwares World of Halo series, animated by DGDX Animation. There are fun little stop-motion animations you can find on the Halo YouTube channel if you wish to check them out. May 10th saw the first of this month's Canon fodders, this one releasing finalized concept art for 2 banished enemies, one familiar and one new, along with a new weapon and vehicle concept. It also featured shoutouts to several lore and community-oriented Halo content creators, YouTubers, podcasters, and more. May 11th featured a new employee spotlight over on 343industries.com. This issue spotlighted Irene Zhu, a UX designer for the team and co-founder and co-lead of the Asians at Xbox community under Xbox's Gaming for Everyone initiative. As usual, it's a great read, so head on over to 343industries.com to check it out. May 13th saw Halo and Xbox celebrating 20 years with an awesome graphic that really took the community by storm. Not much else to say, but damn does it look amazing. Love this take on Mark V. May 17th saw the release of a limited edition box created in partnership with Stance, and the 20th saw a look at the third series of Jazzwares 6.5-inch collectibles coming this fall. May 21st saw 2 pieces of exciting news. First, the next flight for MCC began, featuring a number of fixes for MCC, in particular several addressing long-standing issues from Halo CE, and a look at Season 7 content. At the same time, we got the surprise return of Canon fodder, this time focusing on the new Elite armors and sword weapon skins coming to MCC. And finally, on May 26th, we got a graphic hyping up the Xbox Showcase on June 13th, which appears to promise a look at Halo Infinite multiplayer. And that wraps up the official news from the month. No Inside Infinite or Ask 343 this month due to the upcoming E3 event. However, both are slated to continue after the Expo, with the next Inside Infinite focusing on the changes coming to Halo Waypoint. From there, let's dive into community shoutouts. First, I have to give a shoutout to the amazing Fletch from Ultimate Halo. As I'm sure many of you are aware by now, Jack's father was diagnosed with motor neuron disease back in December of 2020. So, Jack partnered with the Motor Neuron Disease Association to run a charity stream this past Saturday to raise money for the organization. The 24-hour stream featured several prominent creators and ended up raising over $20,000 for the cause. Simply amazing. Next up we have this adorable piece from little Kippie, I hope I got that right, of herself and her husband as an AI and Spartan respectively. Check out the artist on DeviantArt. After that, we have a piece by Jesse Martin on Instagram depicting a Halo ring if it were featured in a Pokémon game. Check out Jesse on Instagram. Next is a general shout out for the channel GR8SCOTT Productions. I recently had the chance to hang out with Scott during my community game night last month. Incidentally, you can find the game night from his perspective on his channel, and he's a pretty cool guy. Browsing his YouTube channel, he has a number of voice acting samples and musical mashups to check out. So, go check it out at GR8SCOTT Productions on YouTube. After that, we have this fantastic custom Gen 3 armor for an OC Spartan from the artist Liberty. Here, Spartan Luna sports her Gen 3 armor featuring a mix of pieces from across armor generations. Absolutely fantastic. Check out Liberty on Twitter. Next up is a Mega Constructs piece by Spiteful117. Titled Death's Head, it shows just how ruthless Emil could be. Check out Spiteful117 on Twitter. Following that is a retexture of the Halo 4 Promethean Knight by Kalvlidan. I hope I got that right. The Knight has never looked better in many ways, so check out Kalvlidan on Twitter. After that is a new take on the Gravemind inspired by the look of fungi on rotten fruit. Drawn by Spartan Mandy, the look reminds me a lot of the Flood as depicted in Last Voyage of the Infinite Succor from the Halo graphic novel. So, it looks amazing. Check out Mandy on Twitter. Over on his personal blog, channel favorite Haruspis wrote up a piece covering everything that the recent Halo Point of Light book set up for Halo Infinite. It's a great read as always, so be sure to check it out. Next up we have Marco Jonathan with a kick-ass piece titled Who's First. The piece really speaks for itself, but I love the use of the Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer elite models here. It's not something we see used too often, so I just thought that was rather cool. Check out Marco on Twitter. After that, we have Haunted by Tungsten Hale. There's not much I can say beyond complimenting the style and color choice, as the work really speaks for itself. Check it out on Twitter. Following them is Liam RRT with some Blue Team fan designs, kit-bashing Halo Reach's Mark V with elements from Halo 5, resulting in some beautiful versions of these classic Spartans. Check out Liam on Twitter. Next is this fantastic piece by the Count of S, depicting the hyper-lethal nature of Spartan B312. Check out the Count on Twitter. Next up we have this hilarious Traxus Spartan by Matthew010 on Twitter. What else really need be said? Check out Matthew on Twitter. Now, Matthew's piece was actually inspired by cosplayer Benton Samec, I hope I didn't mispronounce that, of Benix builds, as you can see here. So if you enjoyed the 3D version, check out the original too. After that we have Halo Reach Evolved, Firefight, and Multiplayer from the Vengeful Vadam. Some among you may recall that we actually talked about this a long time ago. Halo Reach Evolved was a campaign mod for Halo Reach, and now the mod is making its way into multiplayer, including Firefight. The Vengeful Vadam has some really cool ideas for the mod, so stay tuned to his Twitter and YouTube page if you want to stay in the know. Next up we have a Halo 20-year celebratory piece from Ben Kenobi 2020 on Twitter. Be sure to check it out. Next we have Ricky117 with a tribute piece to 343 Guilty Spark, Living Time is Fraught with Peril. Check it out on Twitter. After that is this wonderful new, and classic, take on the Chief's Mark V armor from Halo CE, really taking the underlying design and bringing it up to HD. You can check out the artist, AbbySV1, on Twitter and ArtStation. Following that is a piece from Dashie Jinxx depicting the custom Spartans for the Halo Creation crew. If you aren't aware, Halo Creation is a mainly French Halo community that focuses primarily on fan content. You can check out Dashie Jinxx and Halo Creation on Twitter. Next up we have a fan recreation of the new Banished Skewer. Modeled by SkookumProps and painted/textured by Surasia, I hope I didn't mispronounce that, this model turned out to be fantastic. Check out Surasia and Skookum on Twitter. After that, we have an awesome take on Spartan Assault Machine Pistols by Zozkov on Twitter. Again, I hope I didn't mispronounce that. I'd love to see these weapons come to a Halo FPS, but for now, fan art gets the job done. Check out Zozkov on Twitter. And our penultimate shoutout goes to Duzin01 on Instagram with this badass scene of the Master Chief taking on a Brute Chieftain, I assume to be inspired by the opening to Halo 4. Check out Duzin on Twitter. And of course, we wrap things up with the Halo Community Spotlight for the month of May, showcasing a wide variety of creations from cosplay to tattoos to screenshots and more. If you enjoyed anything that was highlighted here today, be sure to check out the description box below for direct links to everything, be that creations, news, or this month's videos. And if you have any work you want to see highlighted in these monthly recaps of any kind, be that your own or someone else's, please leave a comment below or feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook. I eventually want to start working Instagram into that mix too, but we'll have to wait on that. I'm still not an Instagram guy, generally speaking. For now though, I hope you enjoyed this latest monthly recap. Thanks for watching, thank you to my awesome patrons who you'll hear more about in just a moment, and until next time, this has been Halo Canon. First, I'd like to give a big thank you to our Haruspis patron, Hope. Hope is the very first Haruspis, so an extra special thank you on top of that. Next, I'd like to thank our theoretical patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or get a direct shout out, check out patreon.com/HaloCanon. You can simply support the channel or get additional benefits, such as behind the scenes material and shoutouts like this. However, your continued viewership is more than enough for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you really enjoy this, turn on that notification bell so you can be among the first to see new videos when they release. But for all my fellow Canonites, keep on being awesome.